to understand why Luciano asked Meyer Lansky to kill his own brother, you need to understand what was happening in the New York underworld in 1931. The Castellamarese War had just ended. Lucky had killed Salvatore Maranzano, the self-proclaimed boss of bosses. And Lucky had replaced Maranzano's dictatorship with something revolutionary. The Commission. 5 families, equal votes, rules that applied to everyone, no exceptions. The Commission's first rule was simple. Nobody steals from the organization. Not soldiers, not captains, not even bosses. Stealing meant death. No warnings, no second chances. Because if the Commission allowed theft, the entire system would collapse. Everyone would steal. Trust would disappear. And they'd be right back to the gang wars that had killed dozens of men. Lucky and Meyer had built the Commission together. They were best friends, partners since childhood. They'd survived gang wars, police raids, and assassination attempts. They trusted each other completely. But now Lucky was testing that trust. Because Jake Lansky, Meyer's younger brother, had violated the Commission's most sacred rule. And Lucky needed to know if Meyer would put the organization above family. Chapter 1. Jake's Mistake. Jake Lansky was everything Meyer wasn't. Where Meyer was disciplined, Jake was reckless. Where Meyer was strategic, Jake was impulsive. Where Meyer thought long-term, Jake lived for today. Meyer had tried to help his brother, given him jobs, bailed him out of trouble. In early 1931, Meyer put Jake in charge of running card games in Brooklyn. Illegal poker rooms where gamblers came to lose money. The operation was simple. Run the games, collect the house's cut, report the earnings, send the money up the chain. Jake ran the games for 6 months. And for 6 months, Jake stole. He'd skim cash before reporting earnings. He'd undercount the house's take. He'd pocket money that belonged to the Commission. Jake thought he was being smart, thought nobody would notice. But 3 of the dealers working under Jake reported him. They told their captain. The captain told his boss. And eventually, the information reached Luciano. Lucky had a decision to make. Jake Lansky was Meyer's brother. But Jake had also stolen $50,000 from the Commission. And the Commission had rules. Lucky could have handled this quietly, could have gone to Meyer privately, asked Meyer to return the money and remove Jake from his position. But Lucky knew that wouldn't be enough. Because the dealers knew about Jake's theft. Other soldiers knew. If Jake walked away with just a slap on the wrist because he was Meyer Lansky's brother, it would send a message. It would say that family connections mattered more than rules, that some people were above the system. And Lucky couldn't let that message spread. So Lucky called Meyer at midnight and told him the truth. Your brother stole, and under Commission rules, he has to die. The question is whether you're going to be the one to do it. Chapter 2. Meyer's Decision. Meyer Lansky sat in his apartment after hanging up with Lucky. His wife was asleep in the bedroom, his son was in the crib, and Meyer was facing the hardest decision of his life. Kill his own brother or watch the organization he'd built crumble. Meyer thought about Jake. Remembered when they were kids on the Lower East Side. Jake was 10 years younger. Meyer had always protected him, fought off bullies, made sure Jake had food when their father couldn't work. Jake was family. But Meyer also thought about the Commission, about the rules he and Lucky had written, about the system they'd created to prevent the kind of violence that had killed so many of their friends. If Meyer let Jake live, he'd be breaking the first rule of the Commission. And if Meyer broke the rules, why would anyone else follow them? Meyer picked up the phone and called Lucky back. Charlie, I'll do it myself. Lucky was quiet for a moment. You're sure? I'm sure. Jake broke the rules. He stole from the organization. And if I let him walk because he's my brother, I'm no better than the old bosses who thought they were above the law. When? Tomorrow night. I'll call you when it's done. Meyer, Lucky said, his voice softer now. I know what this costs you. You do what you have to do for the commission. Meyer hung up. Chapter 3. The Conversation. Meyer met Jake the next night at a warehouse in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Jake showed up smiling, excited to see his brother. Meyer, what's going on? You said you wanted to talk. Yeah, sit down. They sat on crates in the empty warehouse. Meyer had a gun in his coat pocket. He'd loaded it before leaving home. 6 bullets. But Meyer didn't want to use it. Not yet. He wanted Jake to understand why this was happening. Jake, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. Sure. Anything. Have you been stealing from the card games? Jake's smile faded. What? The card games I put you in charge of. Have you been skimming? Jake's face went pale. Who told you that? Answer the question. Jake looked away. I took a little, not much, just enough to cover expenses. How much? Jake was quiet. How much, Jake? Maybe 20,000. Meyer's voice was cold. Try 50. Jake's eyes widened. That's not... I didn't, Meyer. I can explain. Explain what? That you stole $50,000 from the commission? That you broke the rules we just put in place? That you made me look like a fool for trusting you? Jake stood up. I'll pay it back. Every penny. I'll get the money. I'll fix this. It's too late for that. What do you mean? Meyer stood up. The commission knows. Lucky knows. And they've ordered a hit. Jake's face went white. Meyer, no. You can stop this. You're my brother. Tell them I'll pay it back. Tell them it was a mistake. I told them I'd handle it myself. What does that mean? It means Lucky gave me a choice. Either I kill you, or he sends someone else. And if he sends someone else, it sends a message that I can't control my own family, that I'm weak, that rules don't apply to people connected to me. Jake backed away. You're not serious. I'm completely serious. Meyer pulled the gun from his pocket. Jake started crying. Please. I'm your brother. I know. And that's why this hurts more than anything I've ever done. But Jake, you stole from the commission. You broke the rules. And if I let you live, the entire system falls apart. Jake fell to his knees. I'll leave New York. I'll go to California. You'll never see me again. That doesn't fix this. The commission needs to know that nobody's above the rules. Not me, not you, not family. Jake was sobbing now. Please, Meyer, I'm begging you. Meyer raised the gun. He aimed it at Jake's head. His hand was shaking. For 10 seconds, Meyer stood there, gun pointed at his brother, finger on the trigger, and then Meyer lowered the gun. I can't do it. Chapter 4. The Alternative. Meyer sat down on the crate, put the gun on his lap. Jake, still on his knees, looked up. You're letting me go? No, I'm not letting you go. But I'm not killing you either. What are you going to do? Meyer thought for a long moment. Then he said, I'm going to give you a choice. A choice? You can die tonight. I'll make it quick, painless. And your wife and kids will get a pension from the commission. They'll be taken care of. Or you disappear. You leave New York tonight. You never come back. You never contact me. You never contact anyone from the organization. You go to California or Mexico or Europe, and you start over, under a new name, with nothing. Jake's voice was shaking. And if I choose that, then you're dead to me. You're dead to the family. You're dead to everyone you've ever known. And if you ever come back to New York, if you ever try to contact me, I'll kill you myself. No hesitation, no mercy. Jake stared at Meyer. That's not much of a choice. It's the only choice you're getting. Because if I tell Lucky I killed you, I need you to actually be gone, dead or disappeared. It makes no difference to the commission. Jake was quiet for a long time. Then he asked, "What will you tell Lucky?" "I'll tell him you're dead. That I shot you. That I dumped your body in the river. And he'll believe you? He'll believe me because I've never lied to him. And because after tonight, you'll never exist again." Jake stood up slowly. "If I disappear, what happens to my family? Your wife and kids stay here. I'll take care of them. They'll think you died. They'll mourn you. And they'll never know the truth." Jake wiped his eyes. "This is worse than death." "Maybe. But you're alive. And that's more than you deserve." Jake nodded. "When do I leave?" "Tonight, right now. I've got a car outside. It'll take you to the docks. There's a cargo ship leaving for Argentina in 2 hours. You'll be on it." Meyer handed Jake an envelope. "There's $5,000 in here. That's all you're getting. Make it last." Jake took the envelope. Then he looked at Meyer. "I'm sorry. I know. Now get out of here before I change my mind." Jake walked out of the warehouse. Meyer sat alone in the darkness, gun still on his lap, and he cried. Not for Jake, but for what he'd had to do to keep the commission alive. Chapter 5. The Lie. Meyer called Lucky from a payphone an hour later. "It's done." Lucky's voice was careful. "You sure?" "I'm sure. Jake's gone. He won't be a problem anymore." "Where's the body?" "In the river. Off the Brooklyn docks." Lucky was quiet. Then he said, "Meyer, I know what this cost you. You did the right thing." "Did I?" "Yes. Because now every soldier in New York knows that nobody's above the rules. Not even your family. And that makes the commission stronger than it's ever been." Meyer hung up. He went home. He told Jake's wife that Jake had been killed in a robbery, that Meyer had tried to save him, but couldn't. Jake's wife mourned. The funeral was 3 days later. Meyer stood at the grave, looking at the empty casket. And nobody ever knew that Jake Lansky was alive, living in Argentina under a new name, working as a clerk in a shipping company, sending letters to Meyer once a year. Letters Meyer never opened. Letters Meyer burned without reading. Because Jake was dead to Meyer, dead to the organization, dead to everyone. Chapter 6. The Legacy. Years later, in 1957, a reporter asked Meyer Lansky about loyalty, about what it meant to be loyal to the commission. The reporter didn't know about Jake. Nobody knew except Lucky and Meyer. But the reporter asked, "What's the most important thing in organized crime?" Meyer's answer was immediate: loyalty. "Loyalty to what?" the reporter asked. "To your boss? Your family? Your crew? To the rules," Meyer said. "Because without rules, we're just animals. We're just gangs fighting each other, killing each other. The commission works because everyone agrees to follow the rules, even when it hurts, even when it costs you everything." The reporter pressed, "But what if following the rules means betraying your family? Then you follow the rules, because your family is temporary. But the organization, that lasts forever." Meyer Lansky lived until 1983. He died at age 80, natural causes, in his bed, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. Lucky Luciano died in 1962 at age 64, heart attack at an airport in Naples. And Jake Lansky died in 1979 in Argentina, under a false name, alone. But the commission survived. It survived because Lucky Luciano tested Meyer Lansky in 1931, asked him to kill his own brother. And Meyer said 4 words that proved loyalty to the organization mattered more than blood. "I'll do it myself." Those 4 words made every boss in America respect Meyer Lansky. Because they proved Meyer wasn't just smart. He was willing to sacrifice everything for the commission, even his own brother. The truth is, Meyer didn't kill Jake. He let Jake disappear. but nobody ever knew that. And for the next 50 years, the story circulated through the underworld. Meyer Lansky killed his own brother to protect the commission. That story, true or not, gave Meyer a reputation. It said Meyer Lansky was loyal. Meyer Lansky followed the rules. Meyer Lansky put the organization above everything. And that reputation protected Meyer for the rest of his life. Because nobody betrayed Meyer. Nobody stole from Meyer. Nobody tested Meyer. They knew what would happen. They knew Meyer would do what needed to be done, even if it meant killing family. Lucky Luciano told Meyer Lansky to kill his own brother. Meyer said 4 words: "I'll do it myself." And those 4 words defined Meyer's entire career. They proved that real loyalty isn't about protecting family. It's about protecting the system that keeps everyone alive. Meyer understood that. Jake didn't. And that's why Meyer died rich and respected. And Jake died alone in Argentina. The commission lasted for decades because men like Meyer were willing to make impossible choices, to sacrifice everything for the greater good. And the mob remembers those choices. Remembers the night Meyer Lansky proved he was willing to kill his own brother to protect the rules, even though he didn't actually do it. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is make people believe you're capable of anything. Meyer Lansky did that, and it made him untouchable.